Now the print statements can, you guess it, print stuff. And how do you think it would print stuff? Well, I'll type hello world. I'll type print hello world. Now, you need to have these quotes to make Python take it literally, and that's called a string. Now, strings are kind of helpful. Now, in the later episodes, we're gonna talk about other things, such as like with statements, making your own classes, and just all the good stuff with Python we're gonna explain eventually. Anyways, what do you think this will output? Oh, it says hello world in the terminal. Well, that is not that surprising to me, because, well, I work with Python a bit. So, yeah. Basically, that is the print statement, but you can have multiple print statements, like print hello world, print hi. Now, what do you think this is going to output? Hello world, a new line, then hi? What? Well, that's actually because the print statement always adds a new line. If you don't want it to add a new line, you need to do end equals. Now, what do you think end equals would do? Well, let's see what it does. Oh, it sets the end of the string to the equal sign, what is on the right side of that. So basically, that is it. And then you can do print hello, and then that would still run. You can have as many print statements as you want, but that's kind of boring. Why don't we start doing math? Python, unsurprisingly, can do math without using quote marks. Now, 1 plus 5, that's 6. But something weird happens when we do this. Wait, what's the difference? Well, you might have seen these quotes. What do those quotes mean? It means Python takes it literally. And that means that when Python takes something literally, that means Python just prints it out. It's literally that. But that can get you into trouble, because if you do print 1, and then if you print the string of 1, those look identical. But if you do that, oh, you get a type error. We'll eventually talk about trying to except, which is how to stop errors from happening altogether. But for now, we aren't gonna worry about that. So now, what do you think would happen if I did this? Wait, 12? What does 12? Oh, that's because concentrating. Concentrating means kind of adding a string to a string in Python. And you can do that by the plus operator, but if you want to have a space in between without needing to add a space, you could instead use a comma. Then it will do that. So yeah. Oh. Now that's basically the print statements covered. Now it's time to talk about variables. Let's assign something called a equal to 1. Then we'll print a. What do you think this will be? Well, a is assigned to 1, and Python's not taking it literally. Sorry there. So, what do you think will happen? Will there be some kind of error? Nope, it'll just print 1. Unsurprising again. So, yeah. It's just not that surprising. So, yeah. If you print a plus 1, not surprising. A plus the string of 1. Type error. And then, yeah, there's that. So, now let's try to reassign variables. A plus equals 1. What do you think this will do? I'll give you a few seconds. Now, I'm going to reveal the answer. And it is 2. Now, why do you think it's 2? Well, it's 2 because plus equals does the same as this. But the plus is here instead of the other place where it was. So now, does it make sense? Well, it should make sense now. Because it basically takes the thing from A and assigns it to A plus the thing after the plus equals. That is what plus equals does. Okay, so now let's call another variable b. And b equals 7. Print a plus b. And also, I didn't tell you this, but that's multiplication, that's division, that's getting the remainder, and that is subtraction. Make more visible. So yeah, I'll use A times B. Well, that's 14 because 2 times 7 is 14. But what do you think this would make it? Well, it would be 8 times 4. No, 8 times 7 I meant. Sorry. So then it's 63. So yeah, that's a bit of math you can do with it. Now, I don't know if we should do something, but I wasn't planning to do this, but I guess we could do it. Let's talk about lists and tuples. Okay, so a list is a collection of numbers like this. Well, it doesn't need to be numbers. It could be a list of stuff like true or false, or even strings, mixed up things like math equations. And also true and false we'll learn when we cover if statements in the input function. We can even do int. Int means the integer. Float means the float. String means the string of whatever you pass into them, by the way. So yeah. Now print A. Now what do you think this is going to print out? It's going to print the list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 9 plus 1 is equal to 10 in this. So now we're going to talk about adding to a list. A dot append. Now append is kind of a method. It adds something, only one thing, to the end of a list. A dot append 4. Print A. So now we're gonna run it. Oh, now to the list containing 4. But if we try to do 4 and 2, we would get a type error because list.append takes exactly 1 argument. We'll learn about arguments later. But 2 were given. And by later, I mean in another video. And the same thing for like anything more. Any amount more. It takes exactly 1 argument, 6 were given. But you can do a dot append 6 or 2. You can append something that you randomly type in like that. You could even type in stuff like true or false or even input. For now, let's just not worry about how it works. I'm just showing you an example. Oh wait, I meant to do backslash. What? I'll try. Yeah, so now if we do, yeah, and then we could do it again and get a different list. That's like nesting functions. But you may have an idea. Could you do something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, yes, you can. You can actually do that. And there are other things you can do with lists. Now, let's talk about indexes and how double indexes, I call them, work. Now, let's do 0, 1, 2, 3. Print a 0. Print 0. And also, if I do a 0, 3, get 0, 1, 2. And if I do 0, and then that 0, 1, 2, 3. That's called slicing, by the way. But now every single one matches. And also, that can only be an integer. Otherwise, you'll get type error. Oh wait, I got an index error. That was an accident. Anyways, now let's go back to our list of lists. Oh. 7, 8, 9. Now, if we do print a 0, and by the way, list indexes start from 0 because of like bits in memory start at 0. I think it's just for a reason like that. Anyways, yeah. So now the lists just have lists inside of them. Now, what happens if you want to get the second index with the list inside of the list? Well then, you could use double indexes. And if you change this 3 to 3, 4, 5, you could even use triple indexes. I could call them. Well, I would call them. And get 4, which is the same result if you did 1, 0. Anyways, let's get it down to the juicy stuff, I would call it. Input. Now, input asks for the user to input something, and then this is the prompt, say something. So, say something. Okay, so we should say something. Well, say something. Okay, I'll say. I typed that random thing in. It's okay. But now, you can assign a variable to the input of something. And when you do that, you can print that variable. Say something. Oh my God, took up multiple lines.